What's going on, guys? It's Bob. It's Ray.
Mm-hmm.
This is another episode. This is episode 12. Or we could use the word session.
Sessions, that's true.
Because of the topic we're talking about today.
Yeah, you guys won't know this, but it's been a while since we've sat down and talked.
In the interlude of us shooting our last episode was episode 11. It was the last time we talked about Alien Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And we stuck with that show for a while. I feel like we'll go back to something like that when there's a show that's worth doing.
Depends what is coming out.
Because Badlands is going to come out. Predator
Badlands. But it's not a show, it's a movie. But we'll talk about it regardless. Are you into... Actually, maybe we'll need to talk about... Maybe we can recap. This could be like a good material, like be able to like recap.
Mm-hmm.
But have you watched Severance?
I've watched Severance. That's a good show. We're a few years late to it, but we could do that.
Have you seen Silo?
Silo's a good show.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I'd have to rewatch it, though.
Have you seen the Fallout show?
No.
Oh my gosh, I should make you watch that.
Okay.
That's good.
I know there's a lot of good stuff running on HBO. I feel like we could get into and cover. I'm saying like it's great to cover timely topics, and we're about to talk about an anime show that's like...
I'm trying to think of like any shows coming out, but really I'm sure we'll find something.
Yeah. Well, anyways, the last time we talked with you guys in a full-length episode was episode 11, where we ended with Alien Earth, and now we are coming here to episode 12, or session 12, to talk about an anime that is beloved by us, beloved by many Western audiences, unlike most anime, and that
I feel like is one of our introductions to anime too. I mean, it wasn't the introduction, but it's I think one of the things that solidified the love for anime.
Yeah, for sure. Cowboy Bebop.
Sorry, I know he was passing off to me.
Yeah, I said is, and then I thought Ray was going to.
And then I went to diatribe.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, have you heard about this thing called anime?
Have you heard about a Japanese art form known as anime? I feel like it's interesting because I think Ray and I grew up right around the correct time to digest anime.
In a way that they were presenting it to American audiences. Because of Toonami.
Cowboy Bebop picked up right where...
Well, actually, Adult Swim. Wasn't Cowboy Bebop Adult Swim?
Yeah, it was Adult Swim. Right. It was one of... it was probably the most popular anime.
But the combination of, Toonami plus Adult Swim.
Right.
Cartoon Network was really pushing, the anime.
This show came out in Japan in 98, but it didn't hit the American scene until 2001 through Adult Swim. And that's right around the time where Ray and I...
bad for, an anime, you think? A turnaround? Because, if you think about DBZ, that's so old when it got released to, the American audience.
Right.
Wasn't it in, the 80s or something?
I feel like Cowboy Bebop translated to a Western audience more than most animes do because, and I mean this was intentional from the director. Let me shout him out actually, and I'm gonna hopefully I don't butcher this. Shinichiro Watanabe.
I agree.
Okay,
sure.
We'll just refer to him as Watanabe from now on. He intentionally, wanted to make he had been involved with a bunch of shows before this because he was the main, essentially it's called the main director. He was not a main director of an anime up until this point, which is this was his coming out party. Cowboy Bebop was the first anime that he was the main director, had all the say over. And it was his, inaugural anime, and it's the best. Some people argue it's the best anime ever made.
Right. I think
it's even made better for being
for sure.
I feel like it's made better for, and this is probably
but it's also biased because it feels like it's very much made for a Western audience.
100%, and I think that was intentional, right? Watanabe, and people I feel like are going to kill me in the comments of this show if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but. He, basically wanted, one of his gripes about Japan movies. So, when he was coming up, when he was growing up, he knew he wanted to do movies. He either wanted to do music or he wanted to do, film, TV. And he wasn't skilled enough of a musician to end up doing music, but he did fall into TV and film. Mm-hmm. And this is interesting, like cultural story he tells. Like I read a magazine article, actually, interestingly enough, in Forbes magazine, from 2023, where he's talking about the start of Cowboy Bebop and his startup and his coming up within the anime circles. And apparently he was coming out of high school, and you to be a part of an anime studio, you have to take an exam. Like he had to do an oral.
Interesting.
He had to do an oral exam. It's almost like a trade. Like he.
I mean, it's their biggest export.
Yeah, I don't know. He basically had to do a panel interview and exam with 3 studio heads with Sunrise, and then later on he's with Bandai. But
are you like literally in school doing this, or like is this just like something you have to just go and present?
I don't understand the Japanese culture and or their education system, but like he explained that in 1984 he finished high school, and that was the same year which 3 monumental anime movies were released, and so that convinced him to go do anime. He eventually decided he didn't want to do music because he wasn't skilled enough in music, and he was going to either do live action movies, live action TV, or anime. And he basically was like, live action movies in Japan were garbage, which is why his love for live action movies were Western like themed movies, like movies from Europe. When I say Western, I mean like Europe and America.
Yeah. Did he have any involvement in the Netflix series?
He apparently hated it.
Oh, good. Because I was gonna say like maybe
he said it wasn't. He basically was like
action because that sucked.
He kind of admitted that they didn't reach out to him for it. You know, like, and then he kind of begrudgingly, I don't know if you watched the whole thing, but I think
made some pretty aggressive changes.
I think they sent him something that he previewed, and after he got done watching it, he said he was grateful that he didn't participate in it because he basically said, "This is not Cowboy Bebop." He looked at it and said, "This isn't Cowboy Bebop." No. But he did say he was thankful for the Netflix series because it's only made the original anime more popular because people just hated the Netflix series.
No, they like we're gonna get into it, like the characters, whatever. But like Jet had a kid, like
it was so stupid.
And
this YouTube guy that I was watching, this retrospective, he hated that. Absolutely hated that.
Awful.
Anyways, it was interesting. Like the story he told was he left high school. 3 anime movies came out that were like influential to him, which drove him to be. He's like, okay, I want to do anime. I don't want to do live action. And one of his gripes against live action Japanese movies was that they're very melodramatic. Like they try to like make the audience cry, and so he was like, it wasn't realistic. Like, and so you see that in Cowboy Bebop. It's like unlike a lot of other.
Watch like regular animes too. Sometimes like the drama is just like
over the top, right? Yeah. Which I think is why like my taste for anime, like another series maybe we will or won't discuss in the future that I love for its realism is also Gundam MS-8th Team, because it's like this kind of Vietnamish kind of like jungle warfare mech show. And it's all, maybe I also like it because it's a mini-series, and I feel like with a mini-series, because this Cowboy Bebop's capped at 26 episodes, and so, you know, the longer a show goes on, the more there is for like fucking the show up. You know, like usually when a show goes for like 5, 6, 7 seasons, you're like, the farther you get into it, the more you're like, this sucks.
Oh yeah, I feel like I have a theory on shows now where like, I don't know.
Should be
like a good, really like good show should be like
seasons.
3 to 4 seasons at most.
Yeah, it can't be.
Like
more
I don't think.
than 3
I feel like Severance is probably wrapping up. Speaking of Severance, like earlier, I think that is probably wrapping up in 3 or 4 seasons.
I still consider that like the quality of that show is very good. Still,
yeah, for sure.
Anyways, a short tangent here is if we have an audience, we only have 12 subscribers so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like and subscribe.
And only 12 episodes. I mean, one every episode release.
One subscriber for an episode right now. We did very well in our live event, by the way.
Mm-hmm. We wanted to do more. We really wanted to do the
trying.
First pour.
Tomorrow is, shout out to Great Lakes. Tomorrow is Great Lakes Christmas sale first pour. We were going to go to it, but we just couldn't make it work.
I can't do it.
And then we were also like, if we weren't doing that, we probably would have made shout out to Mosaic Brewing in Tremont, Ohio, which is opening on Friday. We were going to do that, but the owner said, Ray and I both know the owner. through past work experience. And both of us used to work in the service industry.
Right.
And shout out to Bart and what he's doing with Mosaic. It wasn't the time to do it.
It's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be too much. Like he's gonna be too stressed out. So like it wasn't the time to do like a live event with that.
Right.
So we're gonna respect the wishes of Mosaic, and we're not gonna go be obnoxious and film there. We're sad to miss First Pour, but I'm scouring the This Is Cleveland website for upcoming events for us to like. We really do want to do an in-person event. They are. Right. I don't know if I want to do another Oktoberfest, but I do know that what's the famous German brewer here that's downtown now?
Oh, Hansa House?
Not Hansa. It's
There's another one? Hofbrau?
Hofbrauhaus.
Oh.
Their Oktoberfest is still ongoing.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like through the end of this month.
All right. Do they have like events like every week, I'm assuming?
Yeah, but by now it's probably like a little bit more of a dead crowd. I just don't know if it would be a big enough event to go do.
Yeah, it's like you're doing it twice.
It's also not like the Cleveland Oktoberfest was very much a big event. Like this is kind of like a smaller scale.
The Hofbrauhaus in Cleveland, and
whatever.
Like you're in one. I mean, it's a large space, but still.
I feel like we would just get crowds who are like going out for the night. We wouldn't really be getting event crowds.
You were just getting the Shotsky crowds.
Shotsky. I mean, people paid for us to have shots at Cleveland Oktoberfest. They might buy shots there. Maybe that's a reason to go.
There you go.
We are also, I will shout out our Split Personalities gear. Ray and I got the crew necks on. If you, after you guys have liked and subscribed, only after you hit like and subscribe, reach out to us on Instagram. That's probably the best way. We do have a Gmail account, but honestly, just find us on Instagram and DM us. And if you want to, you want some Split Personalities gear, we can hook you up with it.
Yeah, for sure.
We've got a t-shirt. It's getting a little bit colder, so Ray and I have the crew necks on now.
Oh yeah.
But you want any Split Personalities gear? I'm a hat guy. Ray's not, so he's not wearing a hat. But we got hats. We got a crew necks. We got a t-shirt ready to go. We got a pint glass I could send your way. If you want some Split Personality gear, hit us up on Instagram. Also, I will link in the description, so please check the description of this video. We have a PayPal account. We have a Patreon account that are both live. If you want to be a member, you can go to Patreon and sign up for a monthly membership. All of our stuff remains free on Instagram and on YouTube, but the monthly thing is really kind of like a support, support the show kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then if you don't want to commit to a monthly thing, we do have a one-time payment option, just a direct PayPal thing. And both of those links will be in the description of this video. So support us if you like what we're doing. We're not right now. We're not at the scale of making this our 9 to 5.
No.
But someday we would like to just make this
a
9 to 5.
slow grind. So subscribe, and support.
There you go. Cha-ching. Okay, so back to Cowboy Bebop. So the interesting thing with the director is after high school, he references 3 anime movies. I'm not going to butcher them right now. You can go check out the Forbes article. They're from these are 3 I'm pointing out to right here. There are 3 anime movies that are released in 1984 that he references at the same time that he's graduating high school that push him to do anime. But he is also influenced by Western live action film and also specifically American Western movies, like spaghetti Westerns kind of thing.
Yeah.
And film noir. And you really do see those influences in the Cowboy Bebop show. Not only like the fact that it's an anime that's not like over dramatic. There is drama there, but it's like felt. Like you really do feel the drama.
Yeah, it's like appropriate. Whereas like sometimes in anime it's just like over the top.
Yeah, a lot of anime is just like, oh my god.
But I'm also speaking from like someone who didn't grow up in Japanese culture, so I'm speaking very, very.
We're speaking to a Western audience who oddly this show did extremely well with. I mean, this show blew up in the US.
Killed.
Yeah, I don't know how Adult Swim got its hands on this show, but I mean, it's an interesting. So I would love to know the backstory of that.
True.
But Ray and I growing up hit it at the right time. We were there. We were their audience. You know, we were getting just old enough to phase out of Dragon Ball Z, and like the
we are angel investors.
Exactly. We were just phasing out of that kid anime Toonami phase into the more risque Adult Swim phase of anime. Our parents, to this day, I don't even know if our parents knew what we were watching. We had a TV in our room. My daughter will not.
How late did they?
I don't know. I feel like my daughter will not be having a TV in her room.
I feel like Adult Swim came on late. Like we're all about, like 100%. Aqua Teen, like Squidbillies.
We had one of those old TVs that was CRT style TV with like the VHS that you could put into it.
Like every now and then, Mom would like come in and be like, "Why are you guys still up?"
Yeah, I turned that off.
Yeah,
it was like Whose Line Is It Anyways? We used to watch a lot late at night. Whose Line Is It Anyways? And then Adult Swim.
Right.
The older we got in high school, we were watching Adult Swim. A lot of our friends, honestly, like my high school crush watched Cowboy Bebop, so I feel like that was endearing to me because like I watched that show thinking that she was Julia and I was Spike.
So like she dies.
I didn't want her to die.
Spoiler alert! We haven't got there yet.
Rescue her. I had the same approach to Final Fantasy X, to be honest. Like I was. Titus? Shoot. I'm forgetting.
I never played the game, so
I'm forgetting the names of the characters. Julia. No.
Sarah.
I'm going to have to look this up.
Samantha.
I can't remember. Samantha? This is fine. I'm forgetting the names of the characters from Final Fantasy X.
Stacy's
mom. Shit. One begins with a T and one begins with a Y.
I mean, anyways, don't look at me.
I imagined myself to be the male protagonist of Final Fantasy X, and this girl that I had a crush in high school to be the female protagonist. Same approach to Cowboy Bebop. That was why I was so into it.
True.
Because I would go to like school and be like, "Oh, I'm going to talk to her about this. This is something for us to talk about."
Yeah.
Anyways, she was.
I'm going to AM her later on this.
Exactly.
Remember AM?
Yeah, seriously. I feel like that's how she dumped me.
No, AIM? Is it AIM? AIM.
AOL Instant Messenger. AIM.
Yeah.
AIM. Yeah.
AOL.
That was for the real ones. You guys grew up with AIM, the chat.
Timberlake, does he still own AOL?
I don't know. You asked what's her face to the dance. We both asked. Well, we were both on a chat.
We were like a 4-person group, like 2 girls, us 2.
Yeah.
And like
And then like we don't like you. Like that.
We don't like you like that.
And then we became entrenched manosphere people.
Yeah, exactly.
We're the anti-manosphere. Another shout out. We're the anti-manosphere podcast. We remain the anti-manosphere. Bleep those folks. We're men who can express.
For sure.
And be
we can express
comfortable inside ourselves.
We can wear express. We don't really do, but we
lucky jeans. Anyways. So he gets into a studio by doing an exam, which I found very interesting. Watanabe, the director of Cowboy Bebop, and he works his way up from being like a support director on a bunch of different shows. One of them was like a Gundam show, like right before he got his main director role. And he was like joking about this Gundam show. It was like 0083. And everybody complained about how that series ended, and he was like, I was just a support director. I wasn't the main director on that. Like he would joke with people like about their complaints about that Gundam series. But he eventually works his way up, and he's able to take on. Bandai approaches him, and he's able to take on his own show. And there was an interesting reason why Bandai specifically wanted a space show.
Same reason that Transformers was made, right?
Right.
Sell
toys. But there was also another.
But they wanted to sell spaceship toys.
Because
I don't ever remember there being Cowboy Bebop toys. I'm sure they existed,
maybe in
but
Japan, I don't know. I'm sure they do exist. We weren't old enough.
I would love to own Spike's like gunfighter ship.
Yeah, we weren't old enough to like collect like that though. But I think they were like more like model kits, like like with if you're a Gundam collector, like it's all that model kit bullshit. Right. Like you got to build it. And I'm like, I'm not about that. Yeah. I'm about buying a transformer that's already built. Just transform it. So there was another reason why they wanted it to be a space show and to sell spaceships was because in the Forbes article, Watanabe basically says the new Star Wars trilogy was getting released at the same time. And so people in Japan were like, there's about to be an uptick in Star Wars shit. And so they wanted to ride that wave.
So I don't remember this in the retrospective. Did the company tell him it has to be a space setting?
It had to be a space themed show.
Okay, so he fit his story into space.
What they were like, you can basically, and they were very liberal with him. They were like, you can do. They were like literally like, you can do whatever you want. It's got to be space.
Yes,
you have to have spaceships that we can sell. And in fact, actually, Bandai was kind of mad about it. They almost canceled his show. Or another wing of like the original Bandai, I think did cancel the show, but then another wing of Bandai picked it up, and basically was like, yeah, go ahead. The reason why Bandai was mad at him was the spaceships they made were too like they weren't cool enough.
No, I mean they're
realistic.
They feel very lived. They
lived
in a world. They're like all beat up and they have scratches.
Right.
Even like the fighter pilot one. But that made it so cool.
Right. I mean,
you didn't see shows like that.
They were functional. They were like functional spaceships.
You didn't see like other like cartoon shows or anime shows like that where it's like, yeah, this exists and they're poor bounty hunters. Like this, of course, would be their ship.
It does feel very. I mean, like I know we just got off this topic, but it does feel very much like Ridley Scott's Alien, where it's like a blue collar like spaceship like show.
Yeah, I mean like, the big spaceship looks like a very blue collar.
I mean, like Faye's backstory is also like she is like she like reminds me of characters from Alien Romulus, where she is like so in debt that like her life is now in service to her debtors, and she has to work this debt off, which is why she becomes this sort of like skeezy kind of figure, is that she's trying to like make money quickly to pay off her debtors because she's been bleeped over in her life. Anyways, it coincides with the second trilogy that George Lucas did of Star Wars, and so people in Japan, and Bandai specifically, were like, "Oh, there's about to be this uptick in space shows,
right?
And space toys."
I'm trying to remember, were there any other space shows at the time that you could think about? Like, did that actually happen?
I can't think of any other anime.
Yeah.
I mean, Cowboy Bebop sticks out so prevalent in my mind. I'm sure there were.
Yeah.
Anyways. I feel like a lot of anime we grew up with was space themed, whether intentional or unintentional.
I mean, a lot of it we watched was like Mobile Suit Gundam, but there were like a million of those.
Yeah, there's a million Mobile Suit Gundams. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of another anime that like we were super invested in. I mean, Gundam MS-8 Team, but I mean, maybe someday we talk about that. But yeah, it coincides with Star Wars, so that's why it needed to be space themed. Obviously, being space themed, they also wanted toys to come out of it. So like that's the main push for this show from Bandai's perspective, is we need to sell merch, through this show. And other than that, they gave Watanabe a very they gave him
a lot of creative freedom.
Yeah, freedom. Like the freedom to be like to make the show what he wanted. And luckily, with that freedom, he mixed, traditional Japanese anime with a traditional Japanese anime style and show with Western influences, which you do not see a lot in anime. Which is why it hits so well with the Western audience, because it's very, like we talked about back when we talked about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right.
Like it was the thing we liked about 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was that director also had a lot of freedom, and he made it a very like Batman gritty show. Like the tone of the show, like the color scheme of Cowboy Bebop. You see a lot of other animes. It's very bright colors, it's very vibrant dark settings. Like you watch Cowboy Bebop, like the color palette's so dark and like in the situations are so tense, but they're also realistic. And it's also like you do grow with these characters. Like it's a show where the characters grow and you grow with them. And it's also like the only anime show I think I can remember where you get more out of it by watching it back the second time than you do the first time.
Because there's a lot of like, I don't want to call them filler episodes, but a lot of episodes that just are like one-offs.
Yeah.
And then like several episodes that have a story arc, which I'm sure we'll get into.
So to get into the actual show, you know, there are 4 main characters in this group of bounty hunters who occupy the Bebop. Mm-hmm. It's Jet Black, of course, are the most notable characters. Spike Spiegel, Faye Valentine,
coolest voice, Spike Spiegel,
and then Ed. What was Ed's full name? I'm just gonna call him Ed. He has this very long name. Mm-hmm. I'll just call him Ed, and he had his dog Ein.
Was Ed a he or she? I thought that was
she. Sorry, she.
Yeah.
She has a very unlike Faye Valentine, who is a very kind of like voluptuous femme fatale figure. Mm-hmm. You know, Ed is more of this I mean, Ed's a kid, right? So like, he hasn't developed as much. Like Ed's a very much more of an androgynous kind of like style to her.
She's also like, I don't know, she's just here and there, kind of.
She's a very odd character. She's quirky.
She's not really featured, really, other than maybe the episode where she's introduced. But other than that, like,
she's like this hacker who, I mean, I feel like her function in the show oftentimes is to like circumvent a problem. Yeah. Like they need to track somebody down. Ed's a hacker. Like it's an easy way for the show to circumvent an issue.
Yeah.
Like Ed is the reason why in Jupiter Jazz Part 1 and 2, to get into Spike's, like I don't want to start with Spike. I want to end with Spike. But like to talk a little bit about Spike's character arc episodes, the reason why he goes to Callisto, I think is the name of the planet, or the moon that he goes to. Mm-hmm. But the reason he goes there is because Ed is able to translate a message between Gren and Vicious, and the code name that's used in the message is Julia. And that immediately Spike knows that it's his Julia, and she might be on that planet, and so he runs to go find her, essentially.
Right.
But Ed is this sort of like...
Ed's just kind of around.
Ed's around.
Kind of like the dog.
Yeah. Ed and the dog are just kind of these... they're honestly, their purpose in the show is to bring levity to a lot of like... Which is a great thing, because otherwise it would be what Watanabe hates, which is melodrama. But he hated shows that were melodramatic. And because he has a great mix of drama and comedy, lightheartedness in serious matters... Like it brings a realism to the show that makes it not melodramatic, and Ed is a part of that by bringing levity to what is usually very serious things they have to deal with.
I feel like they could have gone like super dramatic with Ed too, because essentially she's like like an orphan who is this computer genius, like,
finds her father
who has like no home, and then just ends up on the Bebop. And
her like
they really wanted to dive deep in that. They could have, but I think in a weird way, I think it works.
Like
they did it.
Jet could have been like a father figure to her, right? And they could have developed some of that stuff more. I mean, if they wanted to, I guess. I don't know. Ed does not really. I mean, Ed has like one episode where following a couple of YouTubers to prep for the show. Because it's been, to be honest, it's been a minute since Ray and I have watched Cowboy Bebop. We digested a lot of it growing up, but I really had to go back and like watch some breakdowns of episodes because I don't have access to the actual show anymore. Like I might have DVD sets somewhere in my house, but
where do you watch it now? Who streams it?
You can. There are Crunchyroll is like
Crunchyroll,
whatever, is a app for Japanese anime. I could have done a free trial of it, but I didn't feel like signing up for another app, you know, and then forgetting about the subscription. And then my wife would be like, "What the fuck is Crunchyroll?"
Yeah,
and like, "Oh shit, that was like the anime thing I subscribed to." You know, it wasn't like cheap either. I was like, that's the anime thing I subscribed to prep for video. And she'd be like, "You guys aren't even making money in this goddamn podcast, and you're subscribing to shit and you're spending money on it." You know, then it'd have been a whole fight. Then I wouldn't be here sitting before you doing
1v1.
No, she'd win that.
No, for sure.
So anyways, so my digesting and reliving Bebop has happened through other YouTubers. But I remember I felt like I enough of it sank in to talk about it. But Ed, yeah, is really like episode 24, which is the prelude to the final two like epic episodes, which is 25, 26, The Real Folk Blues Part 1, Part 2. A Hard Luck Woman is really kind of a split episode where part of it, most of it focuses on Faye, but a part of it does focus on Ed, who at that point abandons the ship and I think goes back to live with her dad. She runs into her dad at some point.
She does run away from the ship, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She never go back?
She says bye. She writes out in like a color chalk or something, bye-bye, with like her smiley face.
She takes the dog though too, right?
Yeah, Ein goes with her. I don't know where she goes from there. I can't remember if she's going back. Because
doesn't she run into the...
she runs into her father.
But doesn't she run into the like shaman or like whatever? What is that? Almost
Jet talks to the shaman at some point in Real Folk Blues.
I don't know why I think that she did, but I guess
she might have. I don't remember enough if it was that. But in order of episodes that they air, the first person who gets a character background arc is Jet.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a theme that runs through this series with the various characters in the fact that they either are haunted by their past because in Faye's circumstance she can't remember the past, or they are running from their past, which is the case for both Jet and Spike. Mm-hmm. And then like I guess you could throw Ed in there. Like Ed's past is traumatic too. Mm-hmm. She's a very unserious character, so maybe she's in being unserious and jovial and all that, she's not dealing with her past either.
Mm-hmm.
But Jet essentially, what was the name of it? The first episode in the order is episode 10, which deals with Jet's background. That was Ganymede Elegy. Mm-hmm. Was the name of the episode, session 10, sorry. Mm-hmm. Which deals with Jet's past. And essentially Jet has early on in the episode, you see Jet holding a watch, which now no longer works. And Faye guesses correctly that it's a watch that had been given to him by a former lover.
Mm-hmm.
And these memories start popping up with Jet because the bounty that they're searching for is on Ganymede. Ganymede, I think Ganymede's the name of the planet. Mm-hmm. It's on that planet, his home planet, that they have to go find this bounty. And so it starts bringing up a lot of memories. And Jet essentially over the course of the episode goes to find this spurned lover that he had, essentially.
Right. And you find her like in a bar. She's like bartending.
She's like a bartender, and then she's like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend now." Like I don't know, rubbing in his face or whatever. But. Yeah,
and then it's like, but he's the bounty.
Right? Yeah, right. It ends up being like the bounty that they're after, and then she won't. Like, he's kind of trying to pry at her because we find out in the course of this episode that she leaves, Jet's memory of their relationship. She left Jet just out of the blue. He was a cop. Like we learned that about him. He also lost his arm. You find out in another episode later on in the series, like how he comes to lose his arm. But she was like married to the job, like a typical cop, and he just would come home.
He's like too controlling too, right?
Yeah, they had like a nickname for him, like something like the Black Dog or Mad Dog. Basically,
isn't that the reason he's called Jet Black?
Black Dog, maybe. Like basically, like the joke was like a dog when it gets its teeth into something, he won't let go.
Won't let go, yeah.
So like
she basically kind of references that. Like,
yeah, he basically will not. He would not let go of her. He won't, just like he won't let go of the past. The past is symbolized by this lover. Like he not only is this gift that he has, this watch from his ex-lover, but it's stopped. Like the watch no longer works, symbolizing that he's stuck in a certain time period. Right, the watch is no longer ticking time forward. It is paused and in a state of paralysis, like he is. So much like Spike, Jet is sort of stuck in this past. And this mission really is revolved around him kind of growing from the past and letting the past go. I mean, they essentially end up chasing her new lover. I can't remember his name. And he calls Spike off and says, Spike was the one who learned the bounties on this guy. And he tells Spike to leave it, and he's going to handle it. And essentially, the episode ends with Jet. It's not a long. None of these episodes are very long, and not a lot of. In much of these, not a lot of story unravels.
No.
But the episode essentially ends with Jet catching the couple, him putting her new lover away. It seems like he's going to be released soon. Like, whatever he did,
like something about like
he killed a loan shark or something, but it was in self-defense. And
self-defense charge, and somebody was going to be able to convince, I think, the cops that she didn't know what was going on either.
And then in catching him, she finally comes clean to Jet and says, like, "Hey, look, I do remember why I left you. I left you because you were too controlling. You just thought I was always going to be there." You know, it goes to his character not being able to let things go, being too controlling over situations. And the odd thing is, though, in learning that, like, you know, he does kind of let the past go. He's the first character that really grows in the series. I mean, like, he's always portrayed throughout the series as the father figure, the sort of more mature character, the dad of the group. And he's got
a bonsai tree.
Bonsai.
Daniel.
How does it go? Daniel-san?
Yeah. Daniel-san. Bonsai!
I haven't been able to drink my beer yet, so I'm going to drink this beer.
Okay.
So there's another episode I will briefly reference with Jet, and I think it was 16, maybe, where they do explain how Jet loses his arm. They get a bounty for a syndicate assassin who is part of a prison break on a ship.
Yeah.
And this assassin ends up being somebody that Jet ran into in his past when he was a cop. And so Jet's old cop partner finds him and teams up with him to go to this spaceship to find this syndicate assassin who's a part of this jailbreak. And bring him in, or I think they're going to bring him in. And so, in finding the assassin, Jet learns that it wasn't the assassin of the syndicate that betrayed Jet and led to the event that when which he lost his arm, took his arm. It was his cop partner who was like bought by the
gave him up. They're like trying to kill him, essentially, right?
Right. Yeah, essentially. His partner gave him up. His partner was in the pocket of the syndicate, and Jet apparently has very bad luck with partners, both in his personal loving relationships and in his professional relationships. He's not having a lot of luck with the partners.
No.
So that's another background episode for Jet, where you essentially learn a little bit more as to why he leaves the cop force, and I'm sure that we never there's never anything in Cowboy Bebop that's ever explicitly told to you.
Yeah,
you kind of just have to figure it out with the puzzle pieces that are left.
I guess I've never really thought about this with Jet, but there are times in the show where obviously he's now partnered with Spike. There are times in the show where he's very adamant and helping Spike, and there are times where he's screw Spike, he's gonna do what he's gonna do.
Yeah,
which I mean, being a spurned.
I think that's a sign of him being hurt.
Hurt by different partnerships in his past.
Yeah, he has a hard time committing, maybe you would say, to either a partner lovingly or professionally, because he's been spurned so much in the past and literally betrayed. When you talk about his cop partner, he ends up killing the guy, because the guy shoots the assassin in the head because the assassin's about to tell Jet reveal all this information. I cannot remember why his old partner got on the ship. There was almost something he was trying to find. I feel like there's some data he was trying to collect, or maybe his intent was just to kill this individual. He was still obviously working for the syndicate to some level.
Was some way to get to Spike, or were they looking for something from Spike?
There are some interesting things that happen with Spike, which suggest maybe that the syndicate that Spike worked for knows that he's alive.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's essentially Jet's character arc. Those 2 episodes, 10, Ganymede Elegy, and then the prison break that happens, I think it was session 16, where you learn about how he loses his arm and the betrayal that he faces with his old partner. And I assume, again, this show makes you piece things together with their context clues. I assume the reason that Jet leaves the police force is because of that, betrayal. Mm-hmm. He also doesn't have an arm, anymore. Mm-hmm. So then we get to Faye Van. I don't think we're going to talk about Ed much, but I think we can jump from Jet here to Faye.
Mm-hmm.
I think Faye's background is the most interesting of the 3 because it's the most
mysterious to begin with, and that you just learn.
We learn as we go along. I had the episode down here somewhere, what the number at least. My Funny Valentine, which was episode 15. Is when we're introduced to, not to Faye, the character, but Faye's background. She essentially wakes up in a hospital having been, and I think somebody made the point, or made the comment that it was like 50 years that she'd been frozen or asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Much like Ellen...
but like Ripley.
Ripley, who was asleep drifting for 50 years in space.
56 years.
There you go, 56. Faye is essentially asleep for 50 years because she ends up running into one of her old classmates at one point in the show when she finally finds where she's from on Earth. But in episode 15 we're introduced to her past, where she's not only woken up, but she incurs a lot of debt essentially. She falls in line with a lover pretty quick.
Well, she already has hospital debt, right? Because all her family, she doesn't have any living family,
right?
So there's no one to foot the bill for that.
Yes.
And then somehow she gets wrapped up in this because of that debt. She gets wrapped up into some con artist convincing her that he would help her. Somebody
makes the point that, or I think there was this YouTuber, the last one I sent you, where he makes the point that her accident is very important to the world of Cowboy Bebop that they occupy, but I never figured that out.
They give you that backstory? Because I didn't figure that out. When he said that, I was like, and?
Yeah, I was waiting for him to explain that. Because I was like, oh, is this like a Weyland Yutani situation? Mm-hmm. Is her accent tied to this capitalism overreach or something?
I mean, it feels very much where the world that she had existed in as a kid before being frozen.
Yeah,
was very different in the world. No, because she must wake up as still.
Earth is also like a hellhole at the point at which that she's an adult.
Yeah,
if she's woken up 50 years later. The house that she used to occupy no longer exists. Mm-hmm. They get a Betamax tape for her.
They have to find a Betamax player,
and they go into
accidentally get a VHS player.
Yeah, and they go into, they literally, there's an episode where it's like an adventure episode with Spike and Jet, where they're going into the ruins of some old Japanese cities. They literally go underwater to find a old Japanese video store where they can find a player. It's accidentally they find a VHS player, not a Betamax player.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kind of an insight into some that itself is an insight into the world they occupy, much like the Earth of the Alien franchise, which it's if you I'm not a big fan of Alien Requiem. Is it Requiem? What was the last one that Sigourney Weaver was in, where she's cloned?
The fourth one. It might be a Requiem.
Maybe it's Requiem.
Revelation? I don't know. Some stupid name.
Yeah, some stupid name begins with an R. In that movie, at one point, she's like, we're our destination, we're headed to Earth. And one of the characters is like, oh, Earth, that shithole.
Yeah.
So much like the Alien franchise, it feels like the and the director of Cowboy Bebop is to some degree inspired by Alien, because Toys in the Attic is an Alien.
One thing I liked about that with 4 is like it did feel like it was this huge arc for Ripley, where like obviously in the first movie she's trying, her crew is trying to get back home to Earth, and then in 2 she doesn't. She ends up on LV 426.
In 2,
no, she ends up in somewhere else.
She's in like a space station.
Yeah,
she never gets to Earth. They recover.
So it's like and then 3 she's on some like prison planet or something.
Yeah,
like
right.
Anyways, like that was
she never
thing
gets to
like,
Earth. Like, you never actually get to Earth. That's why Alien Earth is why the most recent Alien Earth is so interesting. It's like finally we like come back to Earth.
Yeah. The only good part of that is like the arc of like getting like completing a journey that took so long to finish. But anyways, that's beside the point.
Yeah, Faye, the world of Cowboy Bebop very much feels like the world of Alien Whaling.
It does feel like that, yeah.
It feels like a corporate run. Like it's these blue collar workers, bounty hunters, who are on this blue collar ship. They barely have enough food to sustain them. They're living paycheck to paycheck. You know, they're bounty to bounty. There are very few bounties they actually complete throughout the course of the series, and they all have very traumatic pasts.
Yeah, as soon as they ever earn money, it seems like they're spending it right away.
Yeah, Faye's constantly like kind of stealing money from them, you know,
or like gambling it away.
So Faye, we learn, has this traumatic accident on a spaceship at some gate or something. Like she's on a spaceship, an accident happens. It's all very vague. One of the YouTubers that we watch says that it reveals something about the universe of Cowboy Bebop, but then says nothing about it. So I still, to this moment that we're filming, I don't quite understand Faye's accident and what it means to the Cowboy Bebop universe, but it's a part of her character arc, because it's a part of her past that she's forgotten and she doesn't remember, and she's been frozen for 50 years. The technology that was used to freeze her at the time must have cost a shit ton, because she wakes up and she's in a ton of debt. I don't know why it took them 50 years to wake her up. It's also unclear to me. Like,
did they like just find her or something?
Whatever, like they explained it as like the.
Plus, like, wasn't she one of like many that were frozen?
She must have been.
But I don't think she ever talks about the others.
There was probably a company that advertised this as an option for people who could not be healed at the time that they were. She was injured to the point that she could not be, which I also don't understand, but she sustained some injury in this spaceship crash, in which she could not be healed at the time in which she was living. So they froze her for 50 years. Until she could be taken care of. But in the 50 years and in getting taken care of and woken up, she incurs a shit ton of debt. And so then she falls into the life of bounty hunting and like, you know, this like skeezy kind of life and figures and interacting with these skeezy figures out of survival. I mean, her life is about, one of the quotes of her, each of these characters is a quote, and I think the quote that's usually attributed to her was, "Only the strong survive." And that sums up Faye's character. She has been hardened by the need to survive her entire life.
Yeah.
Specifically her life, I mean, not entire life, her life post awakening. You know, she's been
I think she like said, she quotes like the famous survival of the fittest kind of.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
line.
Survival of the fittest was Faye. You know, I think Jet's was more like forgiving. It was more of like, you can't get rich quick and don't,
or like letting go of the past.
Yeah, letting go of the past. Don't live at the expense of others. Spike is, I can't remember.
Very similar, where like he should let go of the past, but he can't.
Spike and Jet are very similar. The difference between Jet and Spike are that Jet, you know, jumping to real folk blues for a minute, Jet just does try to pass on what he learned from episode 10, which was, you got to let go of the past. You got to let it go.
Well, in a way, I think maybe the difference between Jet and Spike is like the past won't let go of him. Like, Vicious is very much after him.
Yeah.
Or like, I think the whole reason he did the the Julia code name is because he was trying to fish him out.
Okay, so let's jump to Spike because
he's the most interesting.
Is there anything last you want to say about?
Do we want to maybe end the podcast with maybe some of these one-off episodes that we really? I think we should end the podcast with some of the one-off because there are definitely some memorable ones that we should talk about.
Okay. But, I mean, there's one that sticks out in my mind, which is Toys in the Attic. But
which one is that?
Episode 11. That's the alien-inspired one.
There's also the carnival one.
Carnival, yeah.
Anyways, let's go with Spike.
So yeah, we'll continue with the character arcs of Spike. I don't know if is there any last thing you want to say about Faye. Faye essentially, just to wrap Faye up, she does find where she's from on Earth. Mm. She revisits her home. She meets one of her classmates who's like, about to die. I guess elderly woman who's on the verge of death. And actually remembered Faye. Like she stopped and talked to Faye because Faye looked like Faye, the person that she went to high school with.
Yeah.
Now her name's not actually Faye Valentine, but that's the name that she.
No, why did she get? Somehow she is
her
given
boyfriend that cons her gives her the name Valentine.
Yeah,
I don't know if he gives her Faye though. Maybe Faye is her actual first name. Mm-hmm. Anyways, Faye basically ends the series trying to make the Bebop her new family. And that's at the same time that Spike's about to leave. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. I think the tragedy of Faye is like she's constantly pushing against like making any connections. I think when she comes originally to the Bebop, it is almost a relationship of, what's the word? I don't want to say circumstance, but a relationship of
necessity,
necessity.
They're trying to survive.
It feels very mutually beneficial. Like they could use her.
Well, they're all misfits, right? They're all misfits with no attachments anymore.
But by the very end of the show, when Spike is going on his arc and about to leave, like she's ready to accept them as her family, and I guess that's her tragedy.
The timing doesn't.
Yeah, the timing never lines up with any of these characters.
Right.
Like they're all trying to figure out their own shit, and like
Jet gets over his past by episode 10.
Yeah, maybe Jet might be the one person like who like is able to just move on.
And he does not hold it against Spike. Even though he tells Spike, "Hey, you got to let go of the past." This is in I think episode 25, because the last two episodes of 25, 26, the Real Folk Blues Part 1 and Part 2, and I think it's in Part 1 where he tells him, "Hey," and he had learned this in earlier in the series, you got to let go of the past, but he doesn't begrudge Spike for going on the journey of trying to like the thing that maybe Jet doesn't understand, in which Ray alluded to, is that Vicious is never going to stop chasing him. In fact, there's actually, when Vicious takes a hold of the syndicate, he kills the elders. He sets a trap, and the elders have imprisoned him. And Vicious intentionally was caught so that he could smoke the elders out and have this scene where he basically kills everybody who's not aligned to him. Mm-hmm. And so he is now taken over the Red Dragon Syndicate. Mm-hmm. And he's working his, in episode 5, Ballad of the Fallen Angels, to 13 to 12 and 13, which is episode in part 1 and part 2, Jupiter Jazz, and then later on in 25 and 26, Real Folk Blues Part 1 and Part 2. Vicious is slowly working his way into the leadership of him being the leader of the Red Dragon Syndicate. When he eventually takes over the Red Dragon, and Jet doesn't know this, obviously, the members of the Bebop know almost nothing about Spike's past, intentionally. And, Vicious basically puts out, like, what's that famous order in Star Wars where they kill the Jedi?
66.
Order 66. Like, Vicious puts out Order 66. Basically, anybody who was involved with the Syndicate, Julia, Spike, other people, Annie was a character that we were introduced to.
One of the boss, like, episode...
Anybody who had been involved in the Syndicate who's left is essentially ordered to be executed.
The first move that... I guess this is just going to be me getting into it, but the first move that Vicious, in the beginning of the Spike story arc, Vicious makes is to wipe out the boss that was his and Spike's old boss, Mao.
Yeah.
Who is also the father of Annie.
And he was.
We get to meet later.
He is we do meet her in episode 5.
Do we meet her?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's in Battle.
Yeah,
of the
she
Fallen
gives him
Angels.
some weapons, right?
Yeah, he goes and sees her essentially before he goes and saves Faye.
Yeah.
But Mao, yes. Mao.
So that episode starts with him basically killing off Mao while Mao is trying to make this deal.
We can only guess as to why Vicious does this. Vicious has this outlook on life. He's kind of a nihilist. Mm-hmm. He has this outlook on life where it's a sort of survival of the fittest, and the Red Dragon should constantly be at war with its enemies. Whereas Mao, in the beginning of episode 5, again, we don't get a lot of context here, but we can only piece things together. Mao in Ballad of Fallen Angels. The episode opens with Mao making a deal with a rival mafia syndicate figure.
That they have been at war with, like apparently forever.
It's like the Pax Romana is happening, essentially. Like there's a he's trying to strike a era of peace between the warring syndicates.
Mm-hmm. And just as that peace is made, Vicious then blows up the ship that the other syndicate official is on, and then kills Mao, his former boss.
Yeah, and then
Spike's former boss.
And then it jumps from there to the crew of the Bebop, because we can only guess here, but we think intentionally a bounty is put out for Mao to smoke out Spike, or anybody who might be a friend of Mao, or looking for Mao. There's essentially Mao's dead at this point, but a bounty has been put out for him, and so that then entices Spike to go find his past, essentially. Which leads him to Annie. I'm trying to remember chronologically how that episode unfolds, but
yes, he I think goes to see Annie and maybe learn what she knows. He also gets some cool grenades,
really powerful grenades that somehow Vicious survives.
And clips for his pistol or whatever. He gets a lot of weapons.
He's loading
mostly
a lot of
grenades.
guns.
Like I remember there being just like a grocery bag, and then it gets dumped, and there's just grenades.
He throws a lot of grenades in Real Folk Blues Part 2. He's throwing grenades
that episode, the Ballad of Fallen Angels, like grenades. Like this is my main
all you need to know is grenades.
That in the very last episode.
Right.
Again, going to Annie for these grenades.
Spike, grenades is a part of his arsenal, a big part.
Right. It's a healthy way to start the day. Healthy,
very important part of
breakfast.
And a couple grenades.
Mm-hmm.
And not the grenades that Ray would lovingly grab for me in New Orleans.
Yes. Very different. Very different kind of explosion. But what was I going to say? Okay, so he goes off to see Annie. Faye also figures out something.
Somehow she's on the ship, and
she figures out something that they don't. I think she figures out she has to go to some opera house, right?
Yeah, there's an invitation sent, maybe, I think.
Or she gets a call or something. I can't remember.
She intercepts. She's there. Like Spike is not there on the ship, and she is. And she gets some sort of information that was meant for him.
Right, and she while she's getting information, remember the deck of cards? This comes in later in this very episode, but she pulls up a card. What was the card? It wasn't the Ace of Spades.
Wasn't the Ace of Spades?
Didn't she get a different card?
Jack, maybe? A Jack?
Maybe a Jack or a King or something?
I don't know. She pulls the card and reads it as a sign that she should go.
Yeah.
She should go do this. So she's trying to do this bounty on her own, because it's a big bounty, right? Like Mao's this really, very, very influential figure of the Red Dragon Syndicate, and it's the biggest bounty they've seen throughout the series. And so she's going to go try to do this on her own. She gets caught immediately. I mean, she steps in. I don't know how they ping her, because they were expecting
someone to come for sure. They're probably expecting.
Well, she probably names him. She does name him to get in there.
Because she does name.
Remember at the door, she's like, "Well, he won't be very happy." Like she makes this comment that they weren't going to let her in initially.
Yeah,
and she gives her key to the valet.
They clearly set up this trap because Mao is in the audience even though he's dead.
Yeah, right.
You see Mao's corpse sitting up in a chair, his throat slit in his theater box. Faye is the one who was escorted into that box once they once they have trapped her, like this guy puts a gun to her back and it's like, well, we've been expecting you.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So that ends with essentially Spike figures out that she's gone and now she's there is a video call that happens, right? She's trapped and
yeah, I guess they must let her make a call because really, I mean, Vicious is obsessed, I think, with Spike. He really doesn't want to get.
Well, he sees Spike. He honestly, and this goes back to Mao and the deal he struck. He sees anybody who betrays the lifestyle of the syndicate,
like as a part of the past that needs to be wiped out. Yeah,
he has a very fire and brimstone, like Old Testament kind of view of life, where the Red Dragon has no allies and it needs to be ruled by somebody who has the right temperament of like war and again fire and brimstone.
Yeah,
and characters like Spike left the syndicate out of love for Julia, and Mao is now trying to strike a peace deal. You know, anybody who's going against this fire and brimstone kind of ethos is expendable.
I mean, Vicious has
not only expendable but needs to be killed,
needs to be wiped out because Vicious has this quote. It might be in the very last episode when he's facing off against Spike for the second time, where it's like you're like a beast who lost his fangs,
right?
And that's really his kind of philosophy, where it's like, yeah, again, like only the strong survive kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Like Ray said, Vicious has like this ethos of only the strong survive.
Right.
Like you're a beast who's lost his fangs.
It's like a beast that's lost its fangs cannot survive. You should know that, Spike. Something like that.
Yeah, Spike has grown from the life that, I mean, he might have it in a former life agreed with Vicious to some degree, but like he's grown out of that life.
And this is the other thing, which again, like there are some things where like Cowboy Bebop doesn't do like a super deep dive into, but I feel like it's almost explained in our like Vicious notes this in somewhere in the series where Spike was his mentor. Spike was the one who brought him in and taught him the lifestyle of the syndicate.
Well, he has to jump to so episode 5, the Ballad of Fallen Angels ends with a confrontation between Vicious. Spike goes to save Faye. I mean, he was going to go confront Vicious either way, but because Faye's involved, like, he does in part go to save Faye.
Right.
And
I love the video call. He's like, she's like, really, you're gonna come see me? He's like, well, I have my own reasons, but and like in that sly Spike way, like,
very Spike, right?
Yeah.
Just a humble bounty hunter.
Yeah.
So he goes in part to save Faye, but mostly for his own, reasons to confront Vicious. And the episode ends with a duel between Vicious and Spike, where Vicious basically grabs his face, throws him out a window of a church, and Spike
famously has one of the last grenades left and tosses
a grenade. As he's like tumbling down and
we get probably even for
one of the best scenes in the show.
One of the best scenes in any show,
anime. And that's
any anime, any show.
Greenbird's playing.
It's like so like he grabs him. So it's basically the setting's a church where he finds Faye. He's shooting his way through all the bad guys and blowing them up with all these grenades he has. Eventually makes it to Vicious. They have their duel. Vicious has him pinned. They kind of hurt each other. He shoots Vicious, and Vicious stabs him.
He kicks there's a standoff where they pause for a second.
Well, no, that's the very end. That's the last. Last.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
No, like Spike is on the ground with his gun pointed at Vicious.
Oh,
Vicious
okay,
has this samurai sword, which is a very, very interesting like duality between them, where Vicious fights with the sword and Spike fights with the gun.
Right.
But
which is interesting because like in their earlier scenes of like them younger, when Spike was still part of the syndicate, like Vicious is holding a gun, shooting guns.
Right.
Whereas like he only will hold a sword now.
Yeah. So
I don't know. That's never explained why he only fights with a sword now. But
right. Whatever. Anyways, like they both hurt each other, but Vicious still has the upper hand because he's standing over Spike. Spike's on the ground.
Right.
So he like literally picks up Spike by the face, throws him out the window, and then we get one of the best scenes in any show.
The greatest,
not even
anime.
just any anime show, but like probably the greatest scene in any anime show, but like in any show, period.
Like the combination of the slow motion, the music, the he's slowly falling, the flashbacks.
We haven't even met Julia yet at this point.
That's the great thing about the show is the show, you know, to its credit, the show does not handhold you. It does not explain things to you. Which is why this is one of the few animes and few shows in general where it's like you get more from it by watching it
rewatching it, yeah. Definitely the arc episodes for sure.
Oh, 100%. You know, sometimes, honestly, I feel like I oftentimes went back to Cowboy Bebop to rewatch it just to watch 5, 25, 26. Yeah. Jupiter Jazz.
I probably watched 5 like a million times. Like that's my
five
my
is a standalone.
Episode.
Could be a standalone. Yeah,
could be a short movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, yeah, you got the Greenbird, right?
Greenbird. I actually learned. I was so impressed by that show that I learned that. That was one of the things I used to know how to play on the piano. Anyways,
yeah, he's throwing the window, and that's playing while he's falling. And all of a sudden, the best part is like when you see
the explosion,
the glass blow out further because of the explosion. Yeah. Obviously, Vicious survives.
I will say, I mean, like to be honest, episode 5 is maybe the greatest piece of anime ever made.
I also love like
standalone piece of anime.
You see Vicious throw him out the window, but like you immediately see the grenade fall as Spike is being thrown out the window, and the look on Vicious.
Yeah, face. He like looks back at it. He's like,
oh shit.
Somehow he gets out of there unscathed. Yeah. We never understand that.
Yeah.
But I mean, not that you as a viewer thought that Vicious definitely was going to die from that, but like he just comes from that unscathed, and it's just like, wait, what? Like, and somehow Spike, spoiler, dies in 26. Hold on, 26. But it seems like he takes more damage in episode 5.
And the thing I really do love too, like going back to the earlier in that episode, the whole card deck thing, and almost tying into Julia. We still haven't met Julia at this point, but like there's this whole dream sequence almost, and like we see Spike waking up. His whole body's wrapped in gauze. He's healing from that fall out of the church.
Yeah,
and it transitions from the dream sequence into that sequence with the humming of a tune, because Julia used to hum music to Spike, I guess, in a different period of his life where he was injured. Like, I guess that's how they met or something.
Right. I think they grew close with her care of him.
Yeah, with Julia's care of him, and then he wakes up to Faye humming a tune that's probably different, but very similar to the tune Julia hummed, and then we get a nice funny little one-liner. There was Spike says, "Come here, let me tell you something."
Wounded. He's obviously very wounded,
And then she leans in, and he's like, "You're out of tune." And then she just I feel like takes a card deck or a pillow and smashes on him.
I think because there are feathers. I remember. Yeah. I feel like she hits him with a pillow.
But all we see is after the whole her hitting him with I think a pillow. Yeah,
that's the great mix of comedy with the drama of the show.
We see one card on his forehead, and he picks it up. It's the Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
A lot of cool symbolism in the show.
Yeah, it's it's the greatest anime ever made. It's the greatest anime ever made. And I honestly, there is some bias there because I think it's the greatest anime that translates to a Western audience because it has this.
Yeah, if you need an introduction, if you're a Western viewer and want an introduction to anime, you should watch Cowboy Bebop.
It might also ruin anime for you because if you start with Bebop, it's like nothing's going to amount to that.
No, the other shows aren't going to really...
I also love it because it has that alien aspect. It reminds me of Alien in the fact that it has a lo-fi sci-fi aspect to it.
Yeah,
too,
for sure.
It's so reminiscent of Ridley Scott, because they're looking for a fucking Betamax tape. Yeah. You know what I mean? In part of the show.
So we had Ballad of Fallen Angels. What is the next episode that brings in
character arc
Vicious?
for Spike is, and Vicious isn't a big figure in totality of these 2 episodes, but he does come into the mix. It's Jupiter Jazz 1 and 2, parts 1 and 2. To be fair, I don't want to butcher these 2 episodes. I don't remember a lot of these 2 episodes, but essentially,
isn't that the jazz player?
There's the transgender jazz player, essentially.
Yeah,
and essentially, like, we learn those 2 episodes do give us more context into Vicious's past pre-Spike in the Syndicate, where there was a war called the Titan War. Oh, the War on Titan.
War on Titan, and this is interesting to me because
we don't know a lot about that conflict.
Because Vicious is obviously a soldier in this conflict before he was part of the Syndicate.
Is this jazz saxophone player.
And Vicious leaves like this music box thing for him. Remember that? I can't remember. Do you remember what the tune was for that?
I don't.
I think it had a very specific tune.
It does get brought into the mix though at some point. But because he used to play that tune on the saxophone for Julia, who would sneak into the bar, and he would play it for her. And he learns about Spike. Excuse me.
From Julia.
He learns about Spike through Julia. And she would always want to hear this tune, which was a part of this music box that Vicious gave to Gren.
I'll look that up after this because it is driving me crazy. It was a lovely tune too. I feel like.
So the music in Cowboy Bebop is fantastic.
I mean, bar none.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
I mean, even the original.
It's a mix of
the theme music they create.
Yeah. Well, the creator specifically told the composer, who was a no-name composer at the time. I had her name, but I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to butcher it. But began with a K. But the composer at the time, the director said he had worked with her on a different anime show. And because he was the director now, and because he trusted her, the thing that the director said was essentially he chose her because of her range. Like, she could do, in his mind, she could do any genre of music, rock, hip hop, jazz, whatever, classical, Japanese, traditional Japanese, classical.
I mean, the song itself, the theme song, feels like very much a jazz ensemble.
Yes,
he wanted a conductor.
He wanted the opening. Originally the show was supposed to be called Shooting Star Bebop, and the reason it didn't get called that was the luck. It ended up being a good. Cowboy Bebop was more fitting to the show, but the reason it wasn't Shooting Star Bebop was because there was trademark issues. And so they were like, they were scrambling to figure out a name for it. They wanted Bebop because the name of the ship was Bebop.
Well, also, I think the style of jazz, too.
Well, and they landed on Cowboy because they were like, that fits this style of the show. They wanted it to be a noir, American Western noir kind of show. And he wanted the director specifically wanted the opening score of the show to be jazz influenced, and he was worried that the jazz would not fit the space theme of the show. He wanted something to, and so this is why he ended up on the composer of the show, who he believed could do any style of music. He was like, this person, the composer, will be able to make a jazz score that will fit a space show. And so he trusted her enough to do it. And she was an unknown at the time, but it was fantastic. I mean, like the opening score is so iconic. You hear that, like anybody who knows Bebop, you hear that opening, you hear that.
I think it's time to blow this. What is it?
Yeah, it's time to blow this scene. Everybody get together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go. I mean, you hear that, you know what you're watching.
But even in the show, like obviously the episode we're now talking about, which continues the Vicious arc, and Spike arc, But there's another episode where it's like there's a small child who's playing harmonica.
Oh yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
Like
That's one of those good one-off
It's
shows.
like all like even these jazz like parts of the show that you see in the show. It just fits. Like it's so weird how well it all fits together.
Yeah. Well, George Lucas famously called his sci-fi classic Star Wars a space opera. You know what I mean? Like
Opera.
He wanted in an interesting
Cats in space.
Laser cats.
Laser cats. Is cats opera or musical? What's its classification?
Cats. It's a musical.
Musical.
It's a musical.
Okay. So yeah, I got that wrong.
Interestingly enough, I imagine the director of Bebop was also a big Star Wars fan, because I think he also labeled Bebop, like the influences of it, to be a space. Like he wanted to make a space opera, much like George Lucas.
I feel like it's almost more of a space opera in the vein of if George Lucas's Star Wars existed in Alien. It feels way.
He's
more
influenced
like
by a lot of Bebop is an eclectic show. It brings a lot of different things to the table.
Let's get back to
Jupiter Jazz. So Gren is the saxophone player who is in this bar. Somehow Faye gets on the planet. I cannot remember.
Does she intentionally get on this planet, or does she just like stumble on it?
Spike comes to the planet that they're on because he hears the code word Julia that Ed reveals to him, and so he thinks Julia's on the planet. She was at one point on the planet, but she's
feels
not
like
now.
Faye is just there, like randomly. I can't remember how she gets there.
Vicious is trying to get some sort of drug, or there's a product that Vicious is trying to get at.
I remember like her being in this bar, like kind of just like being lamenting, and
I don't know,
almost
why
felt like she was
there.
running away from the Bebop.
I cannot remember why Faye's there. Like she's not. She's a big part of the two episodes, but she's not story, like the story driven part of the episode. She's not there for, and for some reason she's there in the bar, and I cannot remember why. But Spike obviously makes his way to this planet. And there's this jazz player, and most of the interaction happens between the jazz player and Faye, and he reveals his past. And he had fought this war with Vicious on Titan, and apparently, to Vicious's character, like Vicious seems to betray everybody who's ever important in his life, and much like Spike, much like Mao, he betrays this jazz player, Gren, who, while in prison, undergoes a lot of experiments that turn him transgender, essentially. Like he's like a transgender character. He used to be a man, he's now a woman. Like his body is
doesn't he just have like
I don't know. He's got a woman. He has a woman's body.
Yeah, I mean Faye, like
I think Faye's trying to sleep with him at one point.
Well, yeah, maybe she considers it at one point, but like at one point she realizes somehow she gets into the jazz singer's home.
Yeah, like they're talking.
Home,
he invites her back, or she invites herself, and
it doesn't seem like there are any like vibes where they're gonna like get together or anything like that. She's just sitting on the couch. In some point, I can't remember why, she realizes whose home she's in and that there's a bounty on this guy.
She might recognize Vicious because she saw Vicious in episode 5.
Didn't she hear something, like a recording or something from Vicious?
Maybe. I think she recognizes Vicious at some point, and obviously she met Vicious in Ballad of Fallen Angels.
So she goes in the bathroom, pulls her gun, opens up like the curtain of the shower that he's in, and then she says, "You're a woman," or something like that. But I don't know. We don't know enough. We don't see enough to like. Does he? I don't know. I don't want to get into it, but
some of the background that I read on it was he, in being betrayed by Vicious, he is imprisoned and experiments are done on him, on his body, essentially. I think he was. I don't know. I think he was a man at the time that he knew Vicious, and then at the time in which he meets Faye, like he's I don't know.
Receive some sort of exchange operation. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like some operation done on him. Again, much like much of Bebop, nothing is explained.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pick everything up through context clues. A part of his condition is a betrayal from Vicious.
Right.
That's the main point. He was betrayed by Vicious. And Vicious gets back in contact with him because he has some sort of connections that can get Vicious this drug he's after.
Mm-hmm.
Or mushroom or something. I cannot remember what he's after.
Is it the red eye?
Yeah, something like that. And the part 2 of the episode pretty much ends with a confrontation between, and Spike comes back into the mix, a confrontation between Gren, Vicious, and Gren essentially tries to kill Vicious.
Mm-hmm.
He kicks a suitcase his way that's filled with explosives.
Right.
And much like the grenade that Spike threw at Vicious, doesn't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And through this confrontation, Gren's killed. And Vicious, Spike, I think, disables the craft that Vicious is in, where Vicious retreats. And then Spike helps out Gren by getting Gren in his ship, and Gren basically asks Spike to put him on a trajectory to Titan. He wants to go back to Titan,
mm-hmm.
where he had fought this war. Now he's going to obviously his internal bleeding. He's going to die before he reaches there, but he
mm-hmm.
wants his destination to be this planet that he fought this war on. The more interesting backstory leads us to the Real Folk Blues Part 1 and 2, which is
at the very end of this episode, I think, doesn't Sheehan, the brother of someone Spike knew.
Oh yeah, well he disabled Spike at one point.
Well, he saved Spike's life by he pretends to shoot him, but it's actually
shoots him with a tranquilizer.
Tranquilizer dart, yeah.
Lynn, right? Wasn't it Lynn or something?
I don't know.
The brother's dead, right?
Yeah, the brother's dead. I'm pretty sure.
Spike mistakes him for his brother,
yeah.
But he's the brother of somebody that Spike knew.
Mm-hmm.
And the younger brother pretends to be loyal to Vicious by shooting Spike, but it ends up being a tranquilizer.
But yeah, ends up he's saving his life.
Yeah, right. Because Spike was about to confront Vicious again, and for whatever reason, the younger brother steps in and shoots him.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know that Spike wouldn't have won that confrontation. I mean, honestly, Spike has a gun and Vicious has a sword. You stand far enough away from somebody with a sword, you kind of have the upper hand with the gun.
It's always funny,
it's like you're bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Every time Spike has to fight face off against Vicious, he will have had to go through crowds of enemies,
right,
to get to Vicious. So he's already kind of beat up and a little dizzy, which means he can't shoot straight. And
right,
Vicious just has the sword. He's Vicious kind of levels the playing field.
Yeah.
Even though it's a gun versus a sword, because Spike just has to do so much more work.
Right. Well, I think that leads us now to the end of the series and the end of this episode, which is we did want to talk about some bonus episodes. So let's get through the last canonical 2, which are the Real Folk Blues Part 1 and Part 2. These center around, the show leading up to the Real Folk Blues has been hinting at a reunion between Spike and Julia.
Mm-hmm.
And the attempt for Spike to finally deal with his past. And the Real Folk Blues Part 1 starts with Faye, who has in the previous episode, Hard Luck Woman, dealt with her own past.
Mm-hmm.
Meeting up with Julia, who's on the run from the syndicate. By chance, Faye shoots out the tires of this car that's chasing Julia.
Yeah, she just runs into Julia by chance.
She's at an airport or something. I don't know. She's basically at a way station, and she's just kind of sitting there with her thoughts, and she sees this woman driving a convertible,
being shot at
by men chasing her in a black car, and Faye decides to step into the situation, shoots the tires out of the car. Julia stops.
It's like, get in.
Tells Faye to jump in.
And then aren't they chased by another car and
Yeah, essentially.
Faye basically shoots them out too. Like,
and then Julia reveals when they're safe, like, she essentially knows who Faye is because she relays a message to Faye. She says, when you see Spike, tell him I'll be at our spot or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
something like that.
And so part one is really to get Spike reconnected to Julia, which he does. And then part two is really their culmination. But he essentially, Spike reconnects with Julia. He gets the message right through Faye, and he knows where to go. It's this graveyard essentially where she had confronted him before, because Vicious had given Julia an order to kill Spike, which she does not follow through with originally.
Now, one of the things I don't understand is again where Cowboy Bebop doesn't like hold your hand through it and doesn't like explain something to you.
Right.
Was Julia always in the syndicate, or did she become involved when she met Spike and like saved his life that one time?
I always felt like she was a part of it, and then by accident they fell in love.
Maybe.
Because it's hinted at as like,
I mean, maybe he was walking to that store for a reason. Like,
there are snapshots of the past where Spike sees the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
And snapshots that happen in Ballad of Fallen Angels, and I think in some of the future episodes where I think like she's also Vicious's lover.
Yeah.
Isn't she in bed with Vicious at one point?
I think so.
So I don't know. I mean, honestly, Julia's just trying to stay alive, you know, I feel like. And it's hard to tell whether she had always been.
Yeah. It just feels like the first time they meet, almost seems like she's like working in some sort of bakery or something.
She's an apron.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's again, Bebop does not hold your hand through the show. It expects you to kind of just like make in your mind. Honestly, watching Bebop in your mind, you have to put the story together, you know, through context clues. And I just assume that Julia's a part of the syndicate, whether or not she's a part of it before Spike joins or not. Like, she eventually becomes a part of it because anybody who enters Vicious's life is never allowed to leave. You know, only through death. Honestly, only through death does Vicious allow people to leave his life. So, yeah, I mean, like, he meets Julia at their spot, which is like this graveyard that they had met at before. And it's the sort of reverse of the Ballad of Fallen Angels, where she's now convincing him to go on the run. Like before, he was trying to convince her, come with me, let's run away. And now when we get to Real Folk Blues, she and Spike are, a hit has been called on them. Vicious has taken over the syndicate. He's killed the elders, and he has put a hit out on anyone who used to be associated with the syndicate.
Like, I feel like part 2 of the episode begins with them going back to Annie's shop.
Yes, right.
Annie's
part
already
1 is a slow
whatever. You're introduced to Julia. Finally, they reconnect.
Yeah. Part 2 is, okay, like, let's go see if, like, Spike wants to go make sure Annie's okay because Vicious has basically put this hit out on everyone. And Annie's basically on her death. By the time they get there, Annie's basically on her deathbed. She's got a bullet to the gut.
She's already been shot. They're there trying to collect weapons and more grenades, like, as famously.
Basically, Spike realizes they're going to have, unlike the rest of the series.
She's like the Walmart for grenades. My God.
Yeah, right. Unlike the rest of the series, where Spike is trying to run from his past, he realizes at this point, much like Jet earlier on in the series, he's got to confront the past. And so Spike decides, you know, in Annie's shop, like, they are going to have to fight the syndicate.
Yeah, they're going to like fight
Vicious.
Their way out. Yeah, kill Vicious.
And they're never going to be free unless they deal with this.
Doesn't Julia just basically says that almost?
Essentially,
like,
I feel like
we'll never be free. Like,
yeah. So, fast forwarding, obviously, one of the more memorable scenes of this anime and any anime is them.
I mean, they run into the shop. Clearly, they're collecting weapons. They know something's wrong because Annie's already dying.
Yeah.
Like, it's a trap. Like, the people are clear. Yeah. Admiral Akbar is there. The the syndicate's clearly there because Annie is dying. So
they surround the shop.
They surround the shop. They're, Julia and Spike are trapped. They make their way upstairs.
Yeah, they work their way upstairs to the roof. They're trying to escape. This is the one of the most memorable moments of the show in any anime show, and what made me think about my high school love was the moment that Julia is killed.
She falls and dies.
She falls and dies.
Much like that love.
Much like it was the death of the love that never was.
The love that never was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I feel like I've watched this scene over and over. Maybe it sounds more a bit to say, but I just love how beautiful the animation is of the scene.
It's the show where the show does such a good job of actually making that moment tragic.
This scene where you see her, she gets shot. Literally goes for slow motion for like a little bit, where Spike realizes what is happening, and all of a sudden you see Julia flop on the ground.
Yeah.
And the way, I don't know what it is, but like the way she falls there, the way her hair just flops on the ground.
Yeah, she just like does like a boop,
boom,
like bam.
Like there's a slow motion, and then boop, she's on the ground. She's falling. She hits the ground, and the way her hair flops, I'm just like, oh my! Like I don't know how they animated that, but it feels so real.
Yeah, right. That moment is so real, and it was like, I can't remember. Honestly, I probably couldn't tell you another anime that hit me emotionally like that, where it was just like, oh my god, like, because you kind of, you were led to believe up until that point that maybe they'll actually make it out, like maybe they will do this. In most anime series, the protagonist or the group of colleagues are presented with a problem, and they're going to overcome it. You just know. You just know that they're going to overcome it.
We'll I guess we've already kind of talked about like Spike dying and Bish dying, but like Cowboy Bebop's a tragedy.
Yeah, it's a tragedy that works because it's real. Like because it does not dance around. It does not handhold you. You have to piece together the clues of these people's past and of their present, and it's when the moments of tragedy happen, they're realistic. It's not a melodrama like Wananabe Hated. It is a real, like, it hits you in the gut. Like, Julia dies, and Spike, now with nothing left to live for, goes on
a mission.
Goes on a death mission where he's like, all right, like,
there is a small part between Julia dying and him going to like the Syndicate's like base, where he does end up back on the Bebop,
right?
Where we have some good interactions between him and Jet and him and
Faye tries to convince him not to go
what
on
this
this
interaction with Jet though. He's telling him a story about a tiger, and then
and doesn't he mention about like his left and right eye because one of his eyes is different.
I want to pull up this quote because this is one of my favorite quotes of any freaking show.
All right, let's let Ray pull this quote up.
And this is about, we get like hints of him having a fake eye too, like throughout the series.
Yeah, like a cybernetic eye. At some point, I feel like we're told that
Faye is trying to convince him not to leave. And obviously, this is kind of a tragic part of Faye's story that we kind of alluded to. She's finally ready to accept this Bebop family. Yeah. Right. And he's off to
die.
Essentially. Right. And he... I don't know. I feel like there's something she says where, like, why are you doing this? And then he just goes straight up to her, like, face to face, like, as close as he can get, and says, look at my eyes, Faye. One of them is fake because I lost it in an accident. Since then, I've been seeing the past in one eye and the present in the other. So I thought I could only see patches of reality, never the whole picture. I don't know. That just like really hit when I heard it the first time.
Yeah, I mean, this is like it's an anime unlike any other animes. Like, I don't think there's any other anime that has hit me.
I think there's also another line he says, like, during that time where, right after that line, where he says, I don't know if this is part of the same diatribe or like Faye says something and then he responds back to her. But again, this hits because it's part of the same, still part of the same scene. And he says, "I'm not going there to die. I'm going there to find out if I'm really alive."
Yeah, that was
man, they have some of the best quotes. I mean, my God.
I feel like that was reminiscent of it's reminiscent of I can't not remember the novel, but it was about climbing Everest, and the people like climbed Everest not to like the point was not to die, but to see if they were truly alive or to like to truly live. You know, into the wind, maybe, or I can't remember what it was.
I think that was it.
But yeah, I mean, like the end of the series 26 ends with another confrontation between Spike and Vicious. Julie is dead now. Spike determines to go to the central location of the Red Dragon, and he's gonna go just completely fuck shit up. He's throwing grenades left and right. He got all of Annie's grenades.
Oh man, one of the best scenes. Remember, was this the church scene or when? I feel like it was in this scene where he's going to the Syndicate building, but he literally walks in the building
and it kicks a grenade.
He got that trench coat. A grenade drops on the floor and he just kicks it.
That's
boom. That's the entrance into this whole fight scene, which is oh my God. I mean, everything about the show is so epic.
Yeah, the show's awesome. I mean, it's unlike any other anime that's ever been produced. And it ends with he fights his way through the Syndicate's headquarters, one man versus like a million. You know, feels like. And he eventually comes up to the top of the building, which houses Vicious, and like
somehow the roof blows off. I don't know how that happens.
I don't know either.
It's a really cool scene where it's just like exposed like skyline to their fight scene.
Yeah, he throws another like he's working his way up the stairs and an explosion happens. Like
it's almost like the door is rigged for it to explode.
Right. No explosion ever kills anybody in this show. I feel like there's grenades thrown all over the place and explosions that happen. Nobody ever dies from them somehow.
Yeah, and I think this is where Vicious and Vicious has one of his, I think famous lines where he's like, "You're a beast who lost his fangs."
Right. It's the final confrontation between the two of them.
Let me see. This might have been in the church, though, too, but I feel like I should say this. I really love this Vicious quote. When angels are forced out of heaven, they become devils. I feel like that was in the church.
I feel like that was a ballad of fallen angels.
Yeah, that might have been... Okay, the Fang quote, I think, is the one.
It goes to Vicious's character. He does not believe that anyone who wants to seek peace or who has left the Syndicate deserves to live,
Right.
So we have the final battle scene between Vicious and Spike, which honestly does not last very long.
Spike is obviously, and this was another great I don't know how they did this because back in the 90s, it's not like it is now. You were drawing everything, I think.
Yeah, totally.
And you can see Spike is having this weird blurred vision.
Right.
I mean, been a quick fight if Spike could just up and shoot him. So Vicious is obviously using his sword.
Yeah.
And Spike just can't get a straight shot on him because he's injured.
Yeah, he's losing blood. He's dying. I mean, he's dying, basically.
You have this great point, too, in the fight scene where Spike is blocking his blows with his gun.
Yeah.
And then there's one scene where like the sword is almost pressed up against the gun. He's shaking, and Spike shoots.
He like cuts his cheek or whatever.
Shoots across his cheek, and then I think Vicious cuts his cheek with the sword.
They drop their weapons, and then there's that standoff where they're like, okay, Spike has the sword, Vicious has the gun, and they both kick their weapons to the other.
They each have one of each other's weapons. They each drop each other's weapons, and they're holding. And they just slide them against the floor, and then obviously Spike. Yeah, Spike wins this battle, but is injured.
It ends with. I mean, it's kind of a draw in a sense. Spike just doesn't die immediately, where like Vicious cuts him like a mortal cut, and Spike deals a mortal shot to Vicious, and Vicious falls immediately, whereas Spike is left to kind of bleed out.
Yeah,
and the show ends with him walking down the stairs.
Another great scene in the show. I don't want to say it's my favorite scene, but another great scene where he's walking down the stairs and the entire syndicate is just
watching him. Yeah, like he's essentially like had he been healthy enough, maybe he'd be the leader.
Yeah, I mean, they're just like all watching in shock. Like he's clearly won. Like he killed Vicious, and they're all like, "What do we do?" And then he's just on the escalator's not working at this point. He's going down the escalator as if it's steps, and then realizes there are a bunch of people just watching him, and just looks and goes bang with his finger,
points at them,
falls and dies.
Yeah. See you later, Space Cowboy.
Speaking of which, there is a bar we're in Lakewood, Ohio. There's a bar called LBM. I just want to give them a shout out.
That's part of the reason you wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, because on their menu, like it's just their drink menu, and you can whatever, look through it. But if you flip it over to the very back, on the very bottom left corner of the menu, it says, "See you later, Space Cowboy." And I feel like that was, didn't it? It was a ... See you later, Space Cowboy at the end of every episode.
Yeah, well, they changed it up. Apparently, on episode 26, it says, "You'll carry that weight with you."
Yeah. Which is I think the theme of every character.
Well, the characters
they're each carrying their own weight.
And those of you who stuck around till episode 26 and watched it through, like I feel like the viewer leaves the show and is like, "Oh, I'm going to carry this with me." Like, this was heavy shit. Like this was a heavy. The themes of the show were so heavy. This was the most real anime I've ever watched.
I mean, we obviously carried it with us.
Carry it with us today. Do this episode. Like we're carrying it with us now to talk to you folks about it.
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop summary. We can talk about the fun episodes, but summary of Cowboy Bebop, the greatest anime ever made.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
If you're a Western consumer of anime,
the greatest anime show ever.
It's the best blend of anime, and I don't like Western.
It's real. It's realism. It's an anime that's. I feel like it's hard for me to like say this completely.
It's an anime like unlike any other.
Yeah,
because
it's hard because
it doesn't fall into the other anime tropes.
No, and it's hard for me to like judge this because I don't understand completely Japanese culture, but it's like it seems like most animes, unlike Cowboy Bebop, it feels like most animes are made for a Japanese audience and ported to an American audience.
You know what else felt really real? Maybe we'll talk about this one day. Remember Samurai X?
That was such a good show. Yeah.
Well, the movie.
I remember the show. I don't know if I remember the movie.
You don't remember the movie? Okay, the Kenshin show. I'm not talking about that.
Was Samurai X a movie?
Yeah.
I remember the snow scene at the very end.
That was very real. Whereas, anyways, okay. I feel like we should talk
about Samurai X. Yes. Kenshin was kind of stupid.
But, Kenshin was kind of dumb
because he revoked killing people at that point.
Yeah, stupid, dumb. Virtuous.
We should talk about Samurai X. We should talk about. Honestly, I want to talk about Gundam MSA Team. To be honest, at some point.
Anyways, that was maybe one of the only other animes where it felt like lived in reality. Or
yeah.
Anyways,
that was a really gritty, bloody anime
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I remember Ray and I downloaded that, or I can't remember how the fuck we got a hold of that. But yeah, I do remember watching that with you.
Yeah.
But the most striking memory of that show to me was the end where he kills the girl, but like it's like that snowy scene where he's trying to save her. He goes to save her, and he's fighting those like group of assassins.
Oh, she kind of saves him, but also like takes like his sword.
Yeah,
like he stabs her and the other guy.
Right,
and she's like blocking the other guy's sword from hitting him.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
we should talk about
that. We should do an episode on that.
Yeah.
But,
I definitely would have to rewatch that.
But yeah, let's do any fun episodes you remember.
Okay.
Obviously, the alien episode.
Okay. Well, let's talk. I feel like unless Ray has another episode to talk about, I feel like we should talk about Toys in the Attic. Which, funny enough, the YouTuber that I watched and that I pointed Ray to, thinks that the theme of that episode is the prevalent theme throughout the entire show, which is don't leave food in the refrigerator. You know, like don't leave, like essentially a lot of the characters in the show try to neatly close their pasts in this box and leave it behind, and it never works out for them. And so the YouTuber was essentially like, Toys in the Attic is essentially the mantra for the entire show, which is do not try to compartmentalize.
Do not like lock away the past.
Yeah, don't lock away the past. The past is going to find you. And Toys in the Attic is essentially a episode where we learned by the end of the episode, Spike essentially left a crab meal, some sort of crab in the refrigerator. Who knows how long? We don't even really know how long it's been there.
Yeah, it's like the second refrigerator. Like if you ever grew up in a house where you had a refrigerator in the kitchen and a refrigerator in the garage, it would be the garage refrigerator.
Spike put this meal away that was like this high-end meal that he didn't want any of the crew to touch, away in their dormant refrigerator somewhere deep in the recess of the spaceship. And he forgot about it. And it's been there since who knows how long. And the thing that happens is it spawns, like it's fungus or growth or whatever from some sort of meal,
living creature,
alien.
Yeah.
It's not. You're not meant to understand this. You're just meant to know that this standalone episode
really is just a homage to Alien.
Yeah, it's Ridley Scott's 1979
because literally when he jettisons the fridge, he jettisons out of the airlock.
He shoots it out the airlock, which is a classic Alien movie. But he also does this point in time where there's a point in the show where he's also got a flamethrower. He's the only surviving crew member, right?
Everybody else and they get sick.
They don't die, but they get sick. Yeah. And he's the only one who's operating at this point. And he's opening these doors, and it's got that same circular opening that Alien has, where the door's opening in the circular motion and closing.
Does he even use the same sound effects?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got a flamethrower, which obviously that's all they had to fight the alien in the first movie. They didn't have guns. And then
he's got the little motion detector.
Yeah, he's got the alien motion detector.
It's literally cut straight from Alien.
It's cut and paste from Alien.
Yeah.
And Aliens, because obviously the motion detector was from Aliens. But it ends with him he kills one of the black blobs, and he realizes from where it originated, there was a fridge from where it originated, and he realized, oh shit, that's that fridge that I had this old crab thing located in. And for a moment in the episode, he opens it.
It's they just see this ecosystem of disgusting,
nasty,
fungus. And
actually, I don't know if Ray knows this, but apparently that the inspiration from that episode came from real life. Apparently, a friend of the directors on a previous shoot that they did had a fridge that his friend needed to get rid of, and his friend duct taped the fridge shut because he's like, I've not opened this in a year and I don't know what's in it. And he basically, his friend, this is a real life scenario where Watanabe's friend duct taped his fridge together and asked Watanabe to help him get rid of it because he hadn't opened it in a year, and he's like, I don't know what's in there.
Was it still plugged in?
I honestly, I don't know. I don't know enough about that.
I have to go to the bathroom.
I know, I have to pee too. Pierre something, right? So like episode 20, which some people in the Cowboy Bebop universe have claimed is the greatest.
It's
Bebop
one of my
episode.
favorite episodes. I mean, probably my favorite standalone episode. I'll give a special shout out to the first episode, which I think is a fantastic introduction to Cowboy Bebop.
Session 1, you mean?
Yeah, with the eye drop drug thing.
God, I don't remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, the
I'd
shootout
have
in the
to-
Mexican bar.
Okay,
Anyways.
yeah. I feel like I'd have to rewatch the series to totally remember that.
Anyways, yeah, I think there are two like standalone episodes that really stand out. What was the one you talked about? The
Toys in the Attic.
Toys in the
Episode
Attic.
11.
Toys in the
which
Attic
is an
and
alien
this one.
themed episode.
And a lot of it is just setting. Like that one feels very memorable because it is clear, like clear kind of homage to Alien, whereas this one is almost some sort of like dystopian, like carnival kind of like weird. It's just so like the episode is so weird that I just love it so much.
Yeah.
But it's just
also in like an episode where like you think that Spike might be killed.
yeah, it's one of the few episodes where the villain really has the upper hand on Spike because it overpowers Spike because there's like the superhuman assassin.
Much like Vicious, like it's also clear that this person's not going to like let him alone. Like it's going to chase him to the end, end of time, essentially, unless he confronts it. Like it's the first time where Spike realizes he can't just run from the past. By chance, by fortune, he runs into this figure.
Yeah, in the beginning of the episode, like he's coming out of the bar, and all of a sudden, like he runs into this guy who's like assassinating. I'm assuming, if I remember correctly, he's just killing off somebody who was involved in his experiments. Pierre was experimented on, like a government soldier experiment to create some sort of super soldier or something. But it drives him mad and also makes him almost reverts him to a childlike state. They also say in the episode, I remember. But anyways, the I can't remember exactly what unfolds other than the beginning where Spike has this standoff against him and almost dies. To the very end of the episode where it ends in a carnival setting, ends in an amusement park setting. Almost like a Disney World kind of thing. Abandoned Disney World kind of thing where he again faces off against Pierre. Pierre is a superhuman, can like fly and has this freaking grenade launcher that just shoots, and Spike the whole time is trying to dodge these like blasts while trying to just get a blow on this guy. Didn't he have like some sort of force field around him too? Like I feel like every time Spike shot him,
you couldn't shoot him. Like eventually Spike figures out like he stabs him with something.
I remember Spike is kind of on the ground and like he just kind of like pulls out a knife or something and just throws it and hits him in his leg. And because this guy is in some sort of childlike state and hasn't been hit for years,
like
it seems like it's the first pain he's experienced in years. He just falls right down and starts crying. And I think the most memorable part about it is like there is this parade of animatronic figures. They're just like going down the street and they step on him, literally step on him, killing him. Almost, I think, dragging him too. I feel like we can see him dragged. And the song they're playing even is like super airy.
I don't remember. I don't remember the song. Okay. I don't remember. Like I remember it only through watching it back through the YouTuber that we were, consuming.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite episode outside of the Arc episodes.
It's the first. Not other than Ballad of Fallen Angels. It's the first. It's the only other episode before the penultimate Real Folk Blues where Spike learns the lesson of he can't just run away from things. Like, he has to. Like, this guy's not going to stop chasing him and trying to kill him.
Right.
And so he has to go confront it.
Right. I feel like there's almost a sense of, again, it's not stated, like the creators really want you to like think on your own and piece things together, but like almost a sense of empathy from Spike to this like assassin. When he's killed, Spike's just sitting there on the ground watching this all unfold, and it's just like it feels like just an incredibly sad scene where nothing is specifically said, but I think the look on Spike's face, you're just like you can feel like the empathy or the sadness he feels towards this guy who was like experimented on.
Yeah, I mean, like
a pawn.
like it was not this person's fault for the situation they were in. Now, this person's like a cold-blooded killer, but like so is Spike to some degree. You know, Spike had a past, and Spike is nowadays. I mean, to Spike's credit, we don't see him really kill a lot of people, you know, other than syndicate members. But you know, it's out of the power of this person to the fate that they come to. You know, it wasn't this person's fault that they are this cold-blooded killer. And but it is the first kind of episode, other than the character arc episodes, where Spike is really approaching the idea or entertaining the idea of I can't run from things. You know?
For sure. Is there any way we want to end this episode?
Well, I would just say in ending this episode that, you know, I would say that Cowboy Bebop,
hugely influential. Like, I know we talked about DBZ. It's influential in almost a different way.
It's a
where
different
it's like,
type of anime, though.
I feel like we were like entering our formative like teenage, like we're exiting like childhood into teenage years right when we saw this. Adult
Swim was a big, much like Toonami, Adult Swim was a big part of our formative coming into adulthood years. Whereas Toonami was like, oh, we're teenagers, like we love DBZ, like this is cool. I feel like Cowboy Bebop was almost the first introduction to where it's not like I didn't see movies. It's weird, like thinking about seeing The Big Lebowski for the first time. I hated it. And I saw it way too young. Like I remember like Kate was watching or something. Introduced it to us. And when I watched it, I thought it was the most boring thing. It's one of my favorite movies. I remember watching it as a kid and thinking it was the most boring movie ever. Cowboy Bebop was anime for adults. But I feel like it was my introduction into like, wow, like shows and movies can have like themes or be like philosophical. Yeah, I felt like Cowboy Bebop for me was like the first time where I realized, oh, like cartoons can be for adults too. Like, oh, this is something that was meant for a mature audience. Like, this is not something that was like meant for like our experience of cartoons prior to that were I can't remember the racing show that used to happen on the weekends, but like Saturday cartoons, even though the 1990s Spider-Man cartoons were great, like 1990s Spider-Man cartoons, 1990s Batman cartoons, though there were dark themes to that too. Like, you know, Cowboy Bebop, I feel like X-Men, you know, like Cowboy Bebop was the first time I feel like I watched a cartoon animated show and felt like, oh, this is like for an adult audience. I don't even want to say like it's yes, cartoon for sure. Like the format is cartoon, but like by no means do I mean that it's like I'm reducing it to something by saying it's a cartoon. No, I'm just saying like it was an animated show where it's like this is on par with film that I've watched. Well, I think it was the first thing I watched, and I think I like watched it at the right time, whereas like coming out of youth into not coming out of youth, but like childhood into like or formative teenage years.
where it's like it blew me away in a sense I didn't understand really at the time either, in the same way that a 2001 Space Odyssey blew me away when I eventually watched that, or Memento blew me away, or the Blade Runner, like in its philosophy, or like Prometheus too, kind of like blew me away. Like, it was that my almost first introduction where it's like where
there was nothing
it's
like
like oh, TV can be art, or movies can be art,
right?
Which was true before like I realized that, but like,
or a show that is animated. Like when we think about animation before Cowboy Bebop, you and I consuming it as kids, it was like, oh, this is shtick. This is some goofy thing. Like, we're gonna sit here and consume it, and it's gonna be something funny or something silly, lighthearted in nature. But honestly, Cowboy Bebop was for me the first time that I realized that, oh, anime is like that was the first anime where it wasn't something funny or a fighting show. Because I mean, Dragon Ball Z was basically a kung fu show. It was a lot of boringness between fights, but
yeah, it can be like really goofy at times.
But goofy, funny, like again, the light tones, the light color scheme of the versus Bebop, which is a dark color scheme and very serious tones. And I feel like Cowboy Bebop was the first time where I watched a cartoon show from I know it's anime, but like talking from a Western perspective, a cartoon show where I'm like, oh, this is on par with like Forrest Gump, the seriousness of cinema, like Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, like Goodfellas, like this is film. Like this is like this. There's like serious shit going on, life and death scenarios in a cartoon show. And it was the first time that I ever felt like an anime could rise to the level of art, Whereas before it's like, oh, Dragon Ball Z, like whatever, it's a kung fu like fighting show.
Right. I mean, nothing else to say. I mean,
we love Cowboy Bebop. It was inspirational.
Cowboy Bebop is one of one.
Yeah, there's nothing like it before. There's nothing like it since.
Nothing that will ever be like it. Not that they're not going to be great shows out there.
I'm also not really plugged into anime currently, so I'm sure there's stuff that's going on now that's really influential that I don't know about. But I
don't either. I feel like I don't really like the art style of anime today. Again, and I will
say the art style of Cowboy Bebop again, more realistic.
Now I feel like we have to talk about Samurai X, because like the art style of Cowboy Bebop and Samurai X are two ones that I know are hand drawn and just like blew me away. And it's just not the same today. Like the computer animated anime shows just aren't the same.
Garbage. Yeah. It like the animation style of Bebop, like the dark tones of it, tie into the theme, into our interpretation of, like our understanding of, like the things that we're supposed to take away from Cowboy Bebop. The heaviness, the weight of it is reflected in the portrayal of the art style. Like that conveys the heaviness of the tones of the show, of the themes, which is not reflective of a lot of anime today. I feel like a lot of anime today is just kind of like bullshit,
Yeah, I've tried to get into like, and I don't want to shit on like any anime shows, because I know there's like Attack on Titan is a beloved show, and I've tried to get on that. I know there are others out there. What's the one with the pirates? One Piece? Is that what it is?
One Punch.
One Punch.
I don't know.
Well, One Punch Man is definitely
One Punch Man and Airbender is a big one.
Well, One Piece, I'm pretty sure, is like the show they eventually turned into live action Netflix show. I might be wrong, but Correct me if I am, but I know
there's
that's
a Castlevania one that Netflix was trying.
You know what?
to do.
I did watch the Castlevania one, and I actually feel like I need to rewatch it because I didn't hate it that much.
Yeah, I think anime, the West has been trying to like broaden that more, and I don't know. I don't know if it's really.
I don't know those 90s. The 90s anime hit different.
Adults.
Even I don't know if you ever watched Berserk, but like even that too.
Trigun,
yeah,
was different.
Berserk, Trigun, yeah.
Shit. I mean, again, like MS8 Team was different to me than most anime.
Even Gundam, there are certain. I mean, not a lot of Gundam shows really appeal to me. The original one, I fucking loved. But Gundam Wayne, I feel like in the felt very 90s and artistic at some points.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, something about 90s. I mean, there's just
in late 80s,
feel like a
early
golden
90s anime. That was
a golden
period of some really like heavy hitters in the anime sphere. That heavy hitters that translated to a Western audience, I feel like. But yeah, anyways, we loved Cowboy Bebop. To wrap this episode up, Cowboy Bebop was fundamental to our childhood. It was our introduction to like an anime that could be for adults, like something that crossed spectrums. Like it was film. Like it was something on par with film, but in a cartoon format. I don't remember much of the movie itself. I know a movie came out.
Oh
later.
yeah, I remember that too.
I can't remember liking it much, but I think if we did try to watch it one time, I couldn't get into it. Especially knowing that Spike died during the cartoon series, and this was sort of the movie ends up being a prequel, and I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. But it really did bridge, Cowboy Bebop bridged that gap between our teenage years and early childhood years of DBZ, Toonami, to Adult Swim, which was the sort of our cusp of our adult years, and an anime that dealt with serious subject matter.
All right.
And it didn't shy away from like really hard themes and ideas.
No, for sure. No, it was definitely... Yeah, one of those like...
It's 101, like you said.
Yeah, 101. Like you have to watch it to experience it.
You have to watch Bebop. You can't
Another one
completely cancel.
Sorry, I freaking love 90s anime. Ghost in the Shell.
I've not watched Ghost in the Shell. I've heard everybody talk about Ghost in the Shell. It was one of the big...
It was a movie, I think, not a...
Yeah, it was one of the big inspirations to The Matrix. I know that.
But they just had this... Yeah, I guess I'm just saying that just to say that.
There is grit.
That 90s...
There was a gritty...
Anime had a grittiness to it and a look to it.
I remember there's this Kung Fu anime that you and I watched that Dad banned us from watching.
Ninja Scroll.
Yeah, it was a ninja one.
Yeah,
I ripped the arms off.
I will say I have watched that as an adult. It is... I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever talk about that, but
yeah, I won't talk about it.
It's very gritty, and there's a lot of
dark sexual things about
dark
it.
Sexual things.
Yeah,
about it. Yeah. No.
Yeah. I can't remember
Dad was definitely right for not letting us.
Yeah, I can't remember who gave that to us.
Boyfriend, right?
Yeah, we were way too young to watch.
Way too young. This is before we were ever really into anime, though. Too.
Yeah, I don't know. That was something we shouldn't have watched as kids. Anyways, I would say that the 90s and early 2000s, like anime, like it hit different. There was a seriousness to those animes that were different from Dragon Ball Z and like the other kinds of animes that revolved around the Dragon Ball.
And just like the artistic style is something that we'll just never see again. I think.
No.
The grittiness of it is something we'll just never see again.
Right. The art style is unique and unto itself. When you watch Cowboy Bebop, you're watching a period piece. You're watching a
it takes place in the future, but you're watching a 90s.
Yeah, you're watching time of anime that you're like, okay, this will never be recreated. Like the AI generated shit today, and the easily created. There was a
in the same way like a Blade Runner exists. I don't know, like there's certain movies like Blade Runner.
There was an attention to detail that cannot exist.
Intentional grittiness, and almost the way where it's like where the film wasn't as good at back then.
Yeah,
where it makes it almost look more gritty. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like
you can't recreate that.
There was a pain involved with the process that does not exist today. Yeah. Like everything's green screen, CGI crap now. Yeah. And you couldn't get away with that then. And when you watch Cowboy Bebop, the pain of making the series is translated into not only pain, but there's a love. There's a love that exists within the work that was produced to make that series what it was. It was gritty, it was dark, it was an adult-themed anime to the point that I don't think anything lives up to it. I don't think there's anything that lives up to Cowboy Bebop.
It is a period piece, it is a one of one. There'll never be anything like it.
No.
Definitely not the live-action one.
It holds up today. It holds up. It holds up. It holds up in the future. It's one of those lo-fi, sci-fi kind of things where, like Alien, where even though the technology exists in the time period of the 80s, it's like it just the show makes it work. The universe makes it work, and it's a project of love that, unfortunately, I don't know that we'll ever see in another series. Like it's just like today with the access to technology, the AI with AI generated stuff. I just don't think you're ever going to see an anime that holds up to it.
No. Yeah, no. So
we love Cowboy Bebop.
Love Cowboy Bebop. Cheers.
Cheers to that show. Cheers to this podcast.
Yeah.
We're 12 episodes, or Cowboy Bebop themed. We're 12 sessions strong here.
How many total sessions were there in Cowboy Bebop?
26.
26.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk again then.
Well, if we reach a 26 session, we'll do a Cowboy Bebop sort of memorialization of it somehow.
Yeah, maybe we'll buy one of those toys they hated making or whatever.
Yes, we'll buy some stupid Cowboy Bebop bullshit toy that nobody wanted, back in the day for that. Anyways, this has been another episode of Split Personalities. It's Bob, Ray, we're your hosts. Thank you for following us. Like and subscribe. We will eventually be doing another in-person live event.
We haven't figured out what.
We got to figure out what it's going to be.
We definitely want to do more. I feel like
those got a lot of hits.
I feel like we need to do a couple more.
Oktoberfest we got some huge hits for that.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't do first pour, but we should. Hopefully we can find one or two more we can do this year.
If you're in the Cleveland area, there are things.
I have a suggestion for big events.
Yeah, suggestions. If there are things you think we could attend that would be good for us and good for the show and content, let us know. Regardless of that, subjects you would like us to cover, talk about, let us know. We're kind of digging for topics at this point. Because we're sort of in this in-between stage where, we've ended Alien Earth and we talked about Bebop now, but, we're sort of fishing for topics now. And if there's something you want us to cover, let us know. If there's an event in the Cleveland area you want us to attend, talk to people, let us know. We're looking for we're looking for content to drive for you folks.
Events in the Cleveland area, big events that maybe we're not just aware of right now, let us know. We want to attend some of the big kind of annual Cleveland events. Yeah.
I mean, we're obviously aware of some of them, but not all of them. Yeah. And there are places that are brand new, like Mosaic Brewing that's come open up this Friday. There are things happening around the area that are brand new that we're just not going to be aware of. So if there's something that you would like us in the Cleveland area to cover, come visit in person, talk to the folks in person. We would love to do that. Otherwise, if you're not in the Cleveland area, there's a topic you'd like us to talk to discuss, to open up about, let us know.
The show coming up.
The show we could cover for a few episodes. That'd be great. You should let us know about that. I'm still going to try to get Ray and I on Big Brother, and maybe to some extent Amazing Race. But if there's shows other than that you'd like us to venture into, let us know. Hit us up.
Cheers.
Cheers. Spend the split personalities. Good night.
Post.